is it a stress society base? Maybe you're supposed to be at
societal pressures.
Yes,
yeah, of
or
course.
maybe stage pressure oyifakela wena ukuthi maybe immediately mangithi date I was supposed to be maybe based maybe based on bumper plans
sure
where I wanted with mangifika ku date
this and this myself. Whether it be if you're younger or you just 1 year older than the year you were before, already start stressing, you know, and it happens even more after you've like hit 21 going up.
So now your fear of growing even further is you understanding ukuthi ngale primary from not worrying about life to here. So naturally it's inevitable that the more I grow, it means that the more responsibilities are gonna come and the more stress I'm gonna have.
You've just stepped into An Empty Street, a podcast where we casually engage in difficult conversations about relationships, wealth, and health. We are just three curious gentlemen who ask questions almost about everything, and our aim is to find answers from others and within ourselves. We sit down every other week to explore unaltered conversations. So let's walk the talk together, and welcome to the Empty Street podcast.
We all know of the whole concept or term adulting, right? Mm-hmm. And how we all perceive it kind of the same, although differently. But the reason I want us to kind of talk about this is it made me realize that when people speak about adulting, it's always from the point of hey, adulting is hard. Hey, this, that, the responsibility it comes with, you know, the level of maturity you need to kind of like apply and all of those kind of stuff. And it made me realize that all of those things kind of come from like the fear we might have of like growing up. You know, how we still want to kind of hang on to our younger years for as long as we can, because we know the older we get, the more will be required out of you. Life or responsibilities will require more than we used to back then. All you did was just worry about the friends you're gonna play with, what you're gonna catch up on, and all of those kind of stuff. You know, it never really had to do with bills, buying the food, because as a kid you just eating.
You were not worrying. You were just worrying.
Exactly. You know, the food you're eating, getting to work, coming back from work, working, you know, all of these things, getting up early. So, and then there's also dog, you know, so there's all of these parts that kind of come with being an adult. And I just found it interesting how it's even evident when you grow a year older, you know, whether it be if you're younger or you just 1 year older than the year you were before, already start stressing, you know, and it happens even more after you've like hit 21 going up.
Is it a stress society base? Maybe you're supposed to be at
societal pressures.
Yes,
of course.
Maybe stage pressure oyifakela wena ukuthi maybe immediately mangithi date I was supposed to be maybe based based on bumper plans
sure
where I wanted with mangifika ku date
this and this myself. I think societal pressures that externally we kind of take in. But we say it's itself, we apply more pressure. Because of how society looks, then you kind of set that as your benchmark. When you reach this certain age, this and this has to be ticked off my bucket list. This and this has to be done. This and this has to be achieved. So it ends up being a case with now with each year that you accumulate, you worry more because I'm getting closer to these these age groups, but I'm not where I want to, I'm supposed to be. And then you start fearing growing up even more because you're like, I don't see myself being there just as yet, you know, and then you're worrying now about what are those around me gonna start thinking that are probably within your same age group but they're doing things like this and I'm not where I'm supposed to be, but on whose terms?
But you know what? You know how I find it funny now and recently. Let me just say nowadays. More special maguza kuma 2000.
Yeah.
They were young akon. Remember the waiting when Sibo akon. Sometimes they were scared most cooler because more you check upege the way la baba kula baba bakala then baba ni stress ama responsibility baba now and more ibuga then we are uyasaba now.
Sure.
But nowadays check about 2000. Lawanda bafuna bayifuna kuyibona bakhulile bangakakhuli.
Sure.
Then thinking with it's fun.
Yeah,
that's why umuntu ukhona ukutshela age of maybe 14 akutshetheni umdala. Even izinto aqala ukuzenza izinto ezibona ukuthi izinto zabantu abadala.
Sure.
And then they don't pay attention to ama consequences or ama responsibility waleyo phila bayifuna.
Those actions.
So they just want to
be
bayibona because into bayibonayo ba focus on the fun part about being an adult.
Sure.
Ukuthi at least you are called ukuthi manje be a free man or a free woman.
Yeah.
Now akunalento you have to account or mele utshele someone umele uya someone
it's the power perceived that you might have as an adult.
Sure.
And as Uncle Ben says, with great power comes great responsibility. That's the part they don't get, the responsibility part.
Yes. We just because at the end of the day, now you have that freedom.
Sure.
Then that freedom also now you don't know how to use it. That's why I'm gonna so izinto ibona bengamela ukuthi. Yeah. Mase cut some responsibility. Now you remember I was supposed to be a child.
So
then now you wish to go back. You wish to go back now. And me so abona ukuthi like we flop.
Yeah, and as adults, like when you grow up to a certain age where you'll start having these responsibilities, what scares you the most about even growing up further from where you currently are? It's these societal pressures, it's these pressures that you put on yourself, and also like personally your experiences as well. Understanding Guti, I was in primary, I didn't care about life, I was just living, playing and making sure that my parents are happy with the grades I'm getting.
Doing your homework.
Matric as well. I mean high school now the goal is
a bit high.
Nailing up that matric, and now you're taking life a bit more seriously. Varsity is like, there's these modules, young trapper, course young trapper, but you don't see it as adulting, but you see it as course. So things and then you start working, and then you start making money, and obviously when you start making money, it's a lot, and you acquire all these other responsibilities. Now they're like, okay, now it's getting up to a point where as you progress, you're like, now he's forgive. Like that pressure where you're like, I want to adulting young trap. So now your fear of growing even further is you understanding Guti Nkale primary from not worrying about life to here. So naturally it's inevitable that the more I grow, it means that the more responsibilities are gonna come and the more stress I'm gonna have. So I think that fear also comes from that.
No, that's true. I think another part that we don't really pay too much attention to when we start having money and the access to things is that how we consume things, that the whole consumer space where we're just in the habit of buying, right? And some things we can't really afford, right? So I mean, we take them based off of the contracts and all of these things. So it's like, nah, I'll just do this. At least it's not taking all my money, you know. But along the way, you're doing that with so many other things, where when you accumulate or you add up all of those things,
they sum to bigger.
Exactly, sum up to even more than what you have. And then now it becomes a thing with, flip, stressing now. I can't make a payment on 1, 2, 3 things on my list. Now it's like, adulting easy. But had you managed your finances well, you probably wouldn't have been stressing about the finances part. You know, yes, things do get expensive. That value is understandable. But when you constantly just want to buy things, you know, you just want to buy things, and you can't come to terms with not being able to afford things sometimes, and being okay with not buying. I think sometimes it also ends up catching up with us, or just being what's the word, impulsive, like being an impulsive buyer. Being an impulsive buyer adds up to that too, because you didn't put that in your budget.
And just accepting these offers, you qualify for
when
50,000 credit.
You're
qualifying for an
upgrade.
account, TFG. You qualify for, so that's the financial part. I'm trying to think of see how you can avoid putting yourself into that strain financially. Also, another thing with that would put strain on you financially is the family growing.
Yes,
like
definitely.
Having children.
Like that. Having a family.
Yeah. So now I'm thinking on a part adulting abantu bahlala bakhala ngayo, like most yabantu bahlala bakhala ngayo umjolo.
Bakhala ngomjolo,
like they how you can maneuver that one so that it puts away that pressure.
I think with that one it's hard, bro, because like we said in the past that there's really no blueprint when it comes to umjolo, and we all go through it differently, right? Although we might say, okay, 1, 2, 3, when you come across something like this, then maybe try doing this, you know. But I feel like having open conversations about the things you and your partner want to do, you know, planning, like religiously planning. If you want to set out to do something, don't just do it impulsively. Especially if you know with I bese when you have swiping. Kusasa uyakhala uthi ntwana izolo benyiwa ini we went to this and this, kanti bo impress ara, and you knew ukuthi isikwama ntwana silo.
More especially to side lama gents. Then bese masubuyela endlini masemqondo sobuya manje i-hour selibuya. Then manje le drug le ayisekho manje ayisekho le drug, so uyabona mawuthi shit la ikwenzeka iflop la, and mase uyaqala uyabalance, then iwenza ukuthi egcineni uade more stress, because adding more stress la usohamba wenzani yoboleka manje. Then masoboleka then you adding more stress, because egcineni mase kumele uyibhadala that cash,
uyihafa kancane,
then manje sekumele ube inkinga manje kumele uyibhadale, and still futhi shoot on every month they stress.
Because that's now an added budget you have to account for, because now there's extra money you're coughing up. Which is probably from a one-day event.
So are you saying if maybe you can have a proper plan of your life or how you do things, do you think adulting will be much easier?
I feel like if you plan, I don't think you can plan it to the T. But with proper planning, I think you can kind of avoid certain things. Like Mahabu Planela, for instance, you know that maybe you're expecting, you know?
Okay.
You don't wait until the last minute into an go to success. You know, but you do it like long in advance.
In advance, you have 9 months.
Hey, you if you, I had another example. If you're in a relationship and you want to go on trips and all of that, that's not something you wake up like tomorrow and decide on, you know. And especially if we ask with Kwamasako.
Boring. Understand was spontaneous.
Yeah, well,
live in the moment.
That's the thing. But spontaneous cool
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay to be spontaneous once in a while.
Soft life. Soft life.
I worked hard. It's like, I worked hard. But when you just want to spoil yourself, you didn't count the numbers. Crunch the numbers first and then spoil yourself.
Counting the numbers, the problem here.
I want if you count my numbers, manje yabona ukuthi kuzohlangana in 12 months time ngizobe ngiqedile in 12 months time, meaning 12 months yonke ish akuna ukuthi ngizoba like ngizise mnandi dog. So I think
do it now.
I think
then
only live
that
once.
12 months if I'm paying for what I did today.
You only live once. What if you have month number 12 and then
gone? And then
hey,
yeah.
But I think it's just realistically that's something that would go through other people's mind. I'm deep in this, but you know what? The thing is,
eventually I'll pay it off.
Yeah. But the best thing, which is a rabbit hole, which is a rabbit hole.
And I think probably that's the whole business model of credit, right?
Yeah.
Is the good thing,
Yeah, go.
It's fine.
Oh.
But for them, it's fine.
Yeah.
Because they know they've got you.
Yeah.
And the minute you start spending your salary and credits within a month, you're gone.
You're done.
You're gone. Because now you're going to have this thing that you have to constantly... Yeah, you're living beyond your means. And you have to constantly pay for this thing. You have to constantly pay for the headings. We should think when you get a little more, you pay a credit.
It's like anything that I want to too much now is overdraft. Overdraft. And it's not like credit. You cannot pay credit.
Yeah.
Sure, but overdraft, once money comes in, all of it.
Really
go.
Yeah. So, hey, I want to was born.
And you couldn't because young chelo even if you're zero. You can still
spend.
So much we are going to born now, and the most special muzzle pillar is spontaneous. Then when a more figure somewhere with a second, no zero, but I can still spend.
So when your salary comes in, the total amount you spend. I would see the minimum amount.
No. But that's
so it doesn't work as credit.
No.
Why do people go for it?
Some don't, some I don't know.
Just continue, or if you want it or not. So I know, I should have fun.
I was convinced.
I should have app every time you vote 14K overdraft. Swipe. Suicide. I'm fooling
a problem most especially for us. I want to employ the witty, the no gimpers on muscle for no gimpers and not check and no man who's born with a cat. Since the Mali crosser. I will help
for a moment.
Yeah, I want to tell you. And songs of born and the born. I've got less more figure down to selling a clip.
Yeah.
And then I overdraft to us we shy.
Yeah. So this is one of the problems, the adulting, or one of the issues we face with
misuse
adulting.
Of cash.
The misuse of cash. And then I think the second one would be umjolo, people complaining with they can't find anything stable. People lack loyalty. There's no compatibility due to a lifestyle, manje. People wanting a certain lifestyle, whether it's the guy who broke, so hey, I can't date a broke guy, or either the girl utandi groove or slay queen. So manje, it's like a misalignment, and also loyalty as well. In the hookup culture that we have, people having more access to other people, which becomes a problem now because the loyalty becomes tested in most situations. What else are people going through? Complaining about umjolo?
Span.
Spanish, Johnny.
9 to 5, just waking up.
So that you don't have time for
they feel, no. Oh, you mean within umjolo?
No, yeah.
Oh,
Things that other people are just complaining about when it comes to ugoa umjolo. Yeah.
I think
it's just the finances, lifestyle differences, loyalty as well.
Compatibility.
Yeah, we want a compatibility, and also just people not understanding what a relationship is, which allows them to act certain ways which don't aid growth in a relationship.
I think also the pressure of it's coming from umjolo, pressure of finding a stable relationship, pressure of getting married.
Yeah. Kids.
Pressure of getting old without having kids.
Yeah, and also past experiences affecting how you perceive future or potential partners. That affecting how you give yourself to that person, and other people being hurt and just going out on a hating spree. Going out on a hating spree. So and then what else? That adults because those are the top two, right? Finances, nomjolo.
I think I would tie finances to span.
Definitely.
So I think span also now people back or
yeah.
You know, it's like you know your worth, but you're not getting it. And it becomes a thing with that announcing your stress. Because even if you're looking, you're not getting anything.
Somehow they relate because A1 ibiza enye. If maybe you're sinking from one so stress with the full span, we see less. Immediately I look job, I say but more now I need to get a job.
Exactly.
Because now I have my more responsibility.
And as long as they kind of interlink.
They interlink.
Since then now I need more job.
All interlinked.
So somehow
really heavy.
Somehow everything.
So I just found it interesting, man.
At the end of the day, I think one of it can be maybe saying it's a solution, but it's somehow it can make things easier. At least if we don't just do things, at least even in a plan. Even as we always say, you can't plan to have kids. Which it causes more stress. But somehow it's possible to plan. Plan we are out. Plan when everything when we plan it. There's mindset but then at the end of the day, at least it's the stress but at least you can to minimize. I think that one it's an easy solution towards stress is adapting.
Multi at the end of the day, nyazi all the time.
At the end of the day.
Closing remarks.
For me, I'd say I think to avoid that fear of growing up, because it's inevitable at the end of the day. At the end of the day. Everyone's got an age, and you can't run away from it. So for me, I'd say try to focus on the things you can control. Like the planning, as you had said, trying to put things in place that will make it less of a stressful experience. Where you actually, it's not always going to be easy. That we know already from the lives we've lived, the experiences we've had. Life is not meant to be easy, but at least like put things in place to make it at least a bit easier with it. I don't have to like it doesn't have to be that bad. You know, like at least put the jumping castle to soften the
Pushing
blow.
yourself,
To soften that blow when you land and stuff. I think that will be me in closing. Just soften the blow with putting things in place.
And I mean, in some other ways, we should understand one way or another that we can only stress about the things that we are in control of, and we try to minimize the stress for the things that we know that we are not in control of. And there's a quote that I like that says, worrying about the past is depression, worrying about the future is anxiety. So sometimes you just have to live in the moment and understand what cards you've been dealt, and just play with the cards that you've been dealt. Don't try to overextend yourself to doing impossible things. Sure. If you can't afford to do this right now, don't do it. If you can, you can. And same thing when it comes to like umjolo as well. It's like you're not in control of what the other person does, says, or feels. So you should also have that cushion under yourself as well to soften the blow of umjolo hurting you or you being inconvenienced, and just try to seek growth in all the aspects in your life, and most especially career or financially. Sure. I think that could also help you out instead of living below your means, to say, okay, I have this amount of money, let me cut out this amount of food, eat once a day, no longer drink Oros and drink pop or whatever. I don't know, dog, that. Sweet. But just try to grow when it comes to your finances if things are looking that bad. We always don't want to give advice, but I think those are the things that could make
because we are stating the problem and also maybe
possible solutions. And there's always a take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and take care of your pockets. This is the Empty Street Podcast, and we signing out. And this conversation we spoke about your health, your wealth, and your relationships. That was dope.